In Willowbell, even the front porches had personalities. Some wore flower boxes, some held tiny rain boots by the door, and Hazel's porch, painted soft cream with a mint green railing, had exactly 3 potted marigolds arranged in perfect measured rows. Hazel the bunny liked careful things. She liked neatly folded napkins, sharpened pencils, and weather reports that kept their promises. She also liked helping people, but only when she had enough time to make a good plan. So when she hung a hand-painted sign that said "Porchlight supper tonight," everyone in Willowbell smiled. It meant Hazel was trying something brave. The supper was Hazel's idea for the first cool evening after a bright string of summer days. Instead of eating indoors, neighbors would bring one small dish, one lantern, and one story they were glad had happened that week. The porch lights along Clover Lane would glow all at once, and the whole street would feel like one long friendly table. Pip the duckling thought it was the best idea ever invented by a bunny. He waddled over before breakfast with a blue ribbon looped proudly around a basket of rolls. "I brought parade bread," Pip announced. "Parade bread?" Hazel asked. "It is normal bread," Pip admitted, "but I am imagining ahead." Milo the puppy arrived carrying a picnic blanket so enthusiastically that half of it trailed behind him like a cheerful cape. Luna the gray kitten came with a jar of floating tea lights she had collected from Mrs. Maple's bookshop display. Nora the raccoon arrived last with a folding side table she had repaired from spare wood and one polished brass bell to hang by Hazel's steps. Hazel smiled at the sight of her friends, but her smile kept slipping away when she looked at the porch. It suddenly felt very small. The railing seemed too narrow. The marigolds were not blooming at the same height. Even the sign she painted looked shakier now that it was dry. "What if too many neighbors come and there is no room?" Hazel asked quietly. "What if no one comes and all the soup gets cold? What if everyone arrives at once and I forget how to begin?" Milo tilted his head. "Then we will begin kindly. That usually helps the rest catch up." Luna set the tea lights on the steps. "A porch does not need to be large to feel welcoming." Nora tested the little side table to make sure it stood steady. "And if something wobbles, we fix the wobble." Pip looked at Hazel's worried face and did not make a joke, which was how everyone knew he was thinking very hard. All afternoon the friends prepared. Hazel stirred carrot soup with rosemary until the whole cottage smelled warm and calm. Luna tied tiny paper tags around the lantern handles. "One good thing from this week." Nora hung the brass bell by the porch post and set out extra cups in case someone forgot one. Milo practiced carrying muffins one at a time without taking quality control bites. Pip placed marigold petals in a bowl because, according to Pip, nice evenings deserved confetti if the confetti was biodegradable. By late afternoon, soft gray clouds drifted over Willowbell. Not a storm, not anything fierce, just one of those quiet drizzly skies that made everything look silver around the edges. Hazel peeked through the front window and felt her stomach flip. The porch boards were dotted with rain. The lane looked emptier than usual. A single drop slid down the painted sign. "I knew it," Hazel whispered. "Everyone will stay home, or they will come out of politeness and wish they had not." The porchlight supper was too much of an idea for one little porch. She untied her apron and reached for the sign as if she might take it down before anyone saw it. Pip gently held the bottom corner of the sign. "Please don't put away the brave part yet," he said. Milo stood very still, which was hard work for Milo. Luna looked down Clover Lane, where a few porchlights had already begun to glow against the drizzle. Nora's raccoon ears lifted. The bell by Hazel's steps gave a tiny bright ring when the breeze touched it. Then Pip's eyes widened. "If the porch feels too small for a crowd," he said, "then the crowd should not arrive like a crowd." Hazel blinked. "What does that mean?" "It means," Pip said, standing taller with every word, "we make it a porchlight parade. One neighbor at a time. One lantern at a time. One small dish. One good story. Everyone can walk down the lane slowly, stop at your porch, ring the bell, share a kind thing, and keep the lights glowing all the way behind them. Then the supper will not feel crowded. It will feel like courage arriving step by step." For a moment Hazel said nothing. Rain tapped softly on the porch roof. Somewhere down the lane a window opened, then closed. Luna's whiskers twitched. "That is actually a beautiful idea." Nora was already unfolding a second table. "We can line the walkway with lantern jars." Milo began wagging. "And I can greet every neighbor like the official parade welcome committee. I can be calm, warm, slightly sparkly." "You are never slightly sparkly," Luna said. "Thank you," Milo said proudly. The friends hurried into action. Nora set the side tables at either end of the porch so dishes could be placed gently without crowding anyone. Luna drew a chalk line of tiny stars from the lane to Hazel's steps, each star far enough apart to feel like one peaceful pause after another. Milo carried lantern jars under the porch eaves, where the rain could not reach them. Pip tied blue ribbons on the bell, the soup ladle, and the sign because courage, he felt, deserved decorations. Hazel ladled the soup into a warm pot and took one long steady breath. Then she relit the porchlight herself. At twilight, Clover Lane glowed awake. The first neighbor to appear was Mrs. Maple from the turning page. The old raccoon wore her green scarf and carried a covered plate of cinnamon tea cakes. She followed the chalk stars, rang the little brass bell, and smiled up at Hazel. "One good thing from my week," Mrs. Maple said, placing her plate on the table, "is that I saw a bunny decide not to hide her kindness indoors." Hazel's ears rose a tiny bit. Next came Tilly the field mouse under a yellow umbrella, carrying 3 blueberries in a teacup because she said they looked festive. She rang the bell with both paws. "One good thing from my week," Tilly said, "is that Pip helped me cross the puddle by the bridge without losing my hat. It was a heroic puddle," Pip whispered to Milo. Then came the bakery fox with rosemary biscuits. Then 2 young squirrels with pear slices. Then the turtle from the village green, taking such careful porchlight parade steps that everyone waited for him with the kind of silence that feels like respect. Each neighbor arrived alone or in pairs. No one rushed. No one crowded the porch. They followed the glowing lantern jars, paused at the bell, shared one small dish and one good thing, and moved on to make room for the next warm moment. By the time the parade reached the middle of Clover Lane, something wonderful had happened. The porches across the street had lit up too. Neighbors who had only planned to watch from their windows carried out candles, lanterns, and little bowls of snacks. The lane itself became part of the supper. Milo welcomed every arrival as if he had been training for this honor his whole life. Luna kept the lanterns glowing and quietly guided shy guests to the driest porch boards. Nora adjusted the tables each time they grew full, fitting every plate and cup into place like a puzzle solved by kindness. Pip trotted from house to house collecting good news stories as if they were treasure. And Hazel, who had once worried she might not know how to begin, found that beginning kept happening all around her. She handed out soup. She laughed when the turtle asked for extra rosemary. She listened to Tilly describe a very tiny but very successful umbrella repair. She watched the lane glow brighter with every story shared. Then Pip climbed onto the lowest porch step and cleared his little duckling throat. "My one good thing from this week," he announced, "is that Hazel had a brave idea on a day with drizzle and kept it long enough for the rest of us to walk inside it." Nobody spoke for a heartbeat after that, because the words landed so softly and so exactly. Hazel looked out at the glowing lane, the lanterns, the small dishes, the damp steps shining gold in the light, and all the neighbors standing there as if they belonged to one another on purpose. "My one good thing," she said, her voice warm and steady now, "is that I thought I was inviting everyone to my porch, but really you were teaching me that kindness can make the whole street feel like home." The brass bell chimed. The drizzle thinned. Somewhere above the cottages, the clouds opened just enough for one clear star to show. Neighbors stayed longer than Hazel expected. Some sat on blankets under the porch roof. Some stood beneath umbrellas and traded stories. Mrs. Maple started a game where everyone had to name the nicest thing they had seen a friend do that month. Milo received 3 nominations for carrying muffins without eating them. He was so proud he nearly forgot and ate one in celebration, but remembered in time, when the last bowls were empty and the lanterns burned low. Hazel did not feel tired in the worried way she had feared. She felt full in the gentle way that comes after a good song or a safe ending. Before everyone went home, Nora tied the porchlight sign a little higher so it could stay up all week. Luna gathered the used tea lights for tomorrow. Pip sprinkled the marigold petals into the flower boxes like sleepy confetti. Milo curled up on the top step with his chin on Hazel's shoe. "Should we do it again next month?" Pip asked. Hazel looked down Clover Lane, where a few porchlights still glowed in answer even after the neighbors had gone inside. She smiled the kind of smile that stays. "Yes," she said, "but next time, let's call it what it really was." And from then on, whenever Willowbell needed a little extra courage on a quiet evening, the neighbors knew exactly what to do. They lit the porchlights, brought one small dish, rang the bell, and let kindness arrive one step at a time. Because some of the warmest parades are the ones that move slowly enough for everyone to join.